tenable.
Well, joining us now to discuss the fallout from number 10 Downing Street is Bill Bowkett, political reporter for Reaction, a website that provides commentary and analysis on politics, news and culture. Bill, what's your reading of Boris Johnson's position at the moment? I think the consensus is the Conservative Party, MPs especially, they're generally speaking not happy with the way he's handled the latest crisis, but it doesn't seem like they're going to get rid of him or even try to get rid of him yet.
Not yet, but the mood within number 10 and within the Tory party at the moment, it is fairly grim at this moment of time. I mean, the Prime Minister, has all been rocked in confidence, by sleaze, by social care, by you turning on aspects of levelling up, like an HS2. However, what we've seen over the last week with, the Downing Street refurbishments, with the Plan B restrictions, and now with the, supposed lying about the funding of the Downing Street flat, is probably the lowest point of Boris Johnson's leadership thus far. And we did see last week that members of the Conservative Party of backbench MPs had been sending letters to the 19.2 committee with backbench Tory MPs, and it started to trickle in. And we are going to see probably quite a large rebellion next week when the House of Commons does vote on these Plan B measures. I think it's estimated to be anywhere from 50 to 60, which would be his worst defeat, his biggest rebellion as Prime Minister thus far. So he isn't in the firing line yet, and I wouldn't expect to see any vote no confidence anytime soon, or the Prime Minister suddenly to resign. He's got a job to do, over the Omicron variant, and he does have also on aspects of the economy. But I think we've been seeing a lot of editorials and talk about not the end of the beginning, but the beginning of the end of Boris Johnson's reign as Prime Minister.
It's a question of integrity, isn't it? That's what this poll that's on the front page of the Times has. He's saying 2/3 of voters question his integrity. But Boris Johnson is someone who we know is renowned for a bluster and perhaps being generous with the truth. So why is this different?
Well, Boris is a gambler and he's a winner. And that's actually why I think in many ways he was selected as the Tory leader back in 2019 when the country was in its own crisis and over, negotiating Brexit. And he managed to secure that mandate by having a landslide majority in the 2019 election. But what we're starting to see now is that Boris has almost become a liability for the Conservative Party in their successes. So you saw the poll in the Times at the front. You've also seen this Redfield and Wilson poll saying that over 2/3 of the British population, or at least from their sample, want the Prime Minister to resign. And then you also see consistently in the various different polls the Conservative Party behind on Labour, not just by 1 or 2 points as it was, during the what we saw with, the introduction of the health and social care plan and the hike in national insurance. But you're seeing Labour, pull out a 4 or 5, even a 6-point lead ahead of Conservative Party, which is just unheard of. So I think what a lot of MPs are starting to see is that not just on, failure of promises on various different policy aspects, but we are also seeing Boris somehow, not taking a firm enough stance on his leadership, particularly as we've been seeing over, the last week with the parties where, weirdly, I think the Prime Minister is almost like in this Kafkaesque situation where we're seeing mixed messaging where he's having to say, well, the rules weren't broken, but also, I wasn't sure what was going on. I was briefed otherwise. So I think a lot of Tory MPs might say, in public that they are firmly supportive of the Prime Minister, discreetly, as we're seeing in cohorts with Rishi Sunak's camp. I think a lot of Tory MPs are starting to become wary of their leader in the long run.
Yeah, Bill, thanks for your time this morning. Thank you very much. That is Bill Bowkett from the political analyst website Reaction.